Hi, Adee.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm doing really good. It is Tuesday, 1 p.m. It's not raining right now, but it's going to be raining all week in Austin. So I'm glad about that.
You're glad about the rain?
I'm glad that it's not raining right now.
Does Austin get a lot of rain usually?
No, but it's been weeks of rain around here.
Really?
Got it.
Yeah.
So it's the
Weird.
year of like once every 100 years, this is going to happen in Austin, and they're all happening this year.
I don't know if you recently, the mayor of Austin was on the Joe Rogan podcast and I listened to it and he talked about how in his like 7 years, like all of the 100-year things happened in his mayorship or whatever you call it.
I guess in his
His term?
yeah, what do you call it? His term?
Term.
It was good though. He's like, yeah, every year there was a different every 100 years thing. Yeah, that was an interesting podcast. But so I don't know how much you heard about what we were just talking about.
Yeah, I heard. Just give me I heard a little bit.
All right. So what we were talking about was how like the professionalism of coaches through uniform as one example. And how far do you take that to effectively create a unified front, I was going to say uniform again, I was trying to avoid it, but a uniform front as to what this business offers, how it presents, what it looks like, what it sounds like, before it becomes negatively affecting the coach's ability to express their own personality.
Yeah. Well, what I thought about when you guys were talking about it is one of my favorite restaurants here in Austin, and they all operate when they serve, like this level of service is so good. It's so good where we test them sometimes, where I leave a napkin on the table and somehow the napkin gets taken off the table, but I don't even notice how it happened. And they do it in such a way that it doesn't interfere with the way that you're eating the meal. And it's so professional and it's so good, but they obviously get training on that in some capacity, but they still have the ability to express themselves through their personality and the way that they interact with you. So I think that it's possible the edge that you're talking about of it's so professional that it's inhibiting people from being able to express themselves isn't necessarily like a too professional thing. It's like I'm telling you who to be as a leader type of thing, like a cultural issue.
So it's a difference between
be professional.
So it's a difference between how people are versus what they do.
What do you mean?
So,
Yeah.
right. So, first of all, do they all wear whatever they want, or are they all wearing uniforms? Let's just start there.
The waiters, they wear uniforms. So they wear like the same color shirt with the same apron around them, and they look like a team.
Okay.
What restaurant was this, by the way?
It's called Uchi in Austin.
Okay.
So this is cool, and this I think just speaks to exactly what you were describing, Adee, that people can all dress and appear the same and demonstrate the same professional skill and comportment the same, but you can tell that they're all very different people being authentic to who they are at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and coaches, you would give different types of cues, or you have coaches that are a little bit more, they joke around a little bit more, or maybe certain coaches are more soft and sensitive, or, the super cheerleader. I don't think you can, when you start trying to get that out of people, it's not making it necessarily more professional, I don't think. I think it's just controlling.
Right. So what you're speaking to is they can all look similar. Like you do your hair. I'm not asking you to cut your hair to be like my hair, but you're going to wear this shirt, you're going to wear these pants or these shorts and shoes that are this color. And that's how we do things here.
Yeah. And I feel like the people that are about your gym and they love your leadership and they want to be working for you would be excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. How many gyms have you been to, you think, across the country?
Oh, a lot.
And what percent of them do you think presented with uniform like that?
None.
Why?
Almost none.
Why? That's what I'm trying to get to the heart of. Why is this the case?
Yeah, maybe there's like a fear of what you're talking about, but I don't think it's necessarily a valid fear.
The fear of conformity.
I think that, yeah, a fear of, or maybe losing a bit of the casual appeal of CrossFit gyms. Like we're community, we hang out, we're kind of friends. Maybe they think it might lose a little bit of that appeal, which I don't think is true either. I think maybe, the only one I've seen that's kind of like that is NC Fit. They have like their own gear.
They seem to be doing okay.
Yeah.
Is it any more complicated than this is another symptom of the very same reason why the average fitness professional makes $19
I think it is.
hour? It's not. I don't think it's any more complicated than the fact that the standards for fitness professionalism and what is expected of them and what can be provided by them, it's not any more complicated than the fact that that has been abysmally low for too long. And there's still too many people that don't know what they don't know around what's possible for them.
For sure.
If there was a gym that presented that way and part of the interview process was, hey, your starting pay is going to be $60K a year. These are the expectations of you. This is how you're going to blah, 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 blah. I think that it wouldn't be difficult for people to adopt a uniform.
I agree with you. My question to you, Adee, in regards to this is, I don't know if you remember back in, I think it was Seattle, the retreat we did in Seattle with Brute.
Okay.
You drew out the success funnel. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is in the very early phases of that funnel. You can look however you want. You can cue however you want. You can introduce the class however you want. Agree? Disagree?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you
I
describe,
think it is.
Can you describe briefly what the success funnel looks like?
Yes. I wish you had a whiteboard behind you so that I could get you to draw it. 'Cause it's a little bit.
I can do that.
No whiteboard. All right.
No whiteboard. Clearly turned us away from it.
He doesn't want us to use it.
That's okay. Okay. Well, so essentially the success funnel is like the Active Life logo turned on its side, where there's the narrow side of the triangle, and then it goes from the wide side to the narrow side. And at the beginning on the wide side is where you start any goal. You're heading towards a goal and you start on the wide side. And the goal that you're heading towards is the most narrow point of the triangle. And the widest section, like the whole triangle is the zone of optimal behavior is what I called it. Meaning if you are inside that triangle, you are heading towards your goal. But on the wider side, when you first start, the range of behaviors that can move you towards the point or the final goal is very wide. So the most potent example I've heard that's really helpful that anyone can probably understand is qualifying for the NBA. So I want to make it to the NBA. I want to become a professional basketball player. So when you start at the widest point of the triangle or the funnel is you're a kid and you're just playing with the basketball. They don't do anything but have to touch it, roll it, put it in their mouths, just be curious about it. And every time they see the ball, they're like excited about it. They pass it with you back and forth. And then maybe as they get closer to the goal of making it to the NBA, things start getting a little narrower. So they start actually joining an organized team. And on that team, the coaches probably don't care if the kid double dribbles. They don't care if they even shoot in the wrong net. They're just trying to cultivate fun and curiosity in these kids. They can actually hold the ball and run with it, and they're not going to make them wrong for it. And as you get even further along, your expectations get narrower and narrower. So now I'm in college and I'm playing college ball. You don't just have to move in the right direction at offense or defense. You have to work out. You have to get good grades. You have to understand your position. You have to study your opponent's games. You have to watch game footage and understand that. And at this point, in order to keep moving towards your goal, your options of how you can operate are just much lower. Whereas you could have just played with the ball and you were still making progress. But now you have to be doing all of these things in order to continue working towards making it to the NBA. And there's a couple interesting things that happen here. And this is with all goals, with losing weight, with becoming anything. any goal that you have in the world is going to work this way. And it's why like the last 5 pounds are the hardest to lose, because it's the most narrow part of the funnel where it's like your options for behaviors are more narrow. You can't make as big of mistakes. You have to be more precise. And there's this thing called a choice point where, let's say I'm operating in a way that's outside of the zone of optimal behavior. I'm not working out in college ball, and I should be working out in order to keep improving my skills. You have a choice. You can either get back into the funnel and keep working towards B, or you don't actually want to work towards B anymore and you can choose a different goal entirely. That's a choice point. What you cannot do is go backwards. So a lot of people that say, like qualifying for the CrossFit Games. Oh, I used to be able to just do the CrossFit class and do really well in the open. But now if I want to do better, I have to do these extra accessories, or I have to do all this extra stuff. It used to work for me if I just did the class, but you can't go backwards and keep making progress. You've lost everything behind you in the funnel. The kid playing college ball can't just play with the ball and make progress towards making the NBA. So things just get narrower and narrower. And it's a nice thing, actually, because when you first start, almost anything will make you progress. Just anything. And in the example that you're talking about, when you first open up a gym, people don't have as many expectations. You can make more mistakes. You can probably take bigger risks at the beginning, because in order to keep making progress to your goals, you have a wide range of what is going to continue heading towards actual success.
Wow.
I told you I like the D.
That was tricky.
Well, so one of the things that I've told you, and I've told anybody who would listen, that I admire most about you, Adee, is how mature, both like mentally from a skill set perspective and emotionally from an empathy perspective, you are about how you've run your businesses. And so whenever I'm thinking like, I wonder who I could ask about this, you're right at the top of the list every time.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Where did you learn how to do that?
Oh man, I think they're two different things. I think the skill set piece, I learned from my parents. My parents are immigrants in Canada, and they just like worked their butts off. And they taught me that everything I wanted, I could get, but I had to work for. So one example, like my dad told me anything that I wanted, it was 50-50 if I had to have to pay for half. So he wouldn't just give me things. I had to earn enough money my own way. My parents taught me a lot about how to really work hard, how to stay focused, how to complete things and follow through, mostly from the way that they did it, not just in the way that they were telling me to do it. And then the empathy piece was 100% Michael.
Really?
I met Michael, and yeah, the way that he thinks about other people, the way that he considers their perspective, the way that he manages his relationships it's like unlike anything I've ever seen in anybody. Like I think Sean, you and I are kind of similar, where we've maybe in the past burned a couple bridges with a couple relationships because of our intensity.
One bridge.
And and so Michael he doesn't have any like unresolved relationships where there's still tension in those relationships at all. He doesn't have no ex-girlfriends, he just doesn't have anything like that, because he is so great at being empathetic and understanding people and with compassion and communication. And I get a front row seat to it every day. He's taught me all about that.
Did you find that in the success funnel of your relationship, you almost required yourself to grow in that way in order to be the wife that you wanted to be able to be to the husband that you wanted to be married to?
In every single way. If you met me when Michael and I first met, I am just so different. I feel so bad for my ex-boyfriends. I'm so sorry if you're listening to this.
I did meet you exactly when you and Mike first started dating. That was Tahoe, 16 or 15?
Yeah. I was just very different back then. I was super different.
The irony is it was very easy for me to talk to you when you were in that phase of your life, because I was in the same phase of my life. And I was just like, go get it. Aggressive, forward. And I was like, I like this chick. She's relatable. So, I mean, now when you're working with clients, staff, whatever, and you identify that people are falling outside of what would be necessary for them to move forward towards their goal, the narrow end of the funnel. Mm-hmm. Do you find that it's your responsibility to acknowledge for them and to them that they're outside of what they need to be doing to move forward? Or do you more take it as maybe this person doesn't want to move forward from here? How do you make that decision?
My process in general, I first and foremost look for where I'm accountable. So where is it in this situation that I might be contributing to this person not moving forward towards their goals? Whether that's staff, whether that's clients, whether that's, I don't know, I'm having conflict with a regular person like a friend in my life. What is it that's my piece of this? Maybe it's the way that I'm coaching or the way that I'm showing up or strategies that I'm using, whatever it is. I do that first. And then I try and be transparent with people and be like, hey, I want to make sure that this is still what you want to achieve. Is it? Because I can see some things that's not helping us get there. And yeah, especially I don't want people to be just like going through the motions, thinking that they're heading towards a goal that they want. Like me, like I did that. I thought I wanted to be national champion in weightlifting. I really genuinely believed it, but I was not living my life in a way that would have gotten me to that goal. So it made no sense to maintain that. It was like I was at a choice point. I wasn't in the zone of optimal behavior. I needed to either decide to change my behavior or choose a different goal entirely. So if I see that could be potentially happening, I want to help people. And nobody wants to hold on to goals that they're not actually achieving. It's just not a good feeling.
Well, so how do you help some? I agree. And I don't know how to tell somebody. I don't know if you actually want this thing that you say you want without saying it just like that. And then when they say, why would you say that? Well, because you're not doing this, or this, all what you need to do and you acknowledge you need to do to get to there. I don't know, maybe I just don't have the skill that you have to do that.
Yeah, it is not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do. The way that you just said it is a little direct and can potentially put someone on the defensive immediately. So there's a way to like soften that conversation.
How? Sean Cleary over here has the same problem on overdrive. And he asked how also.
Sorry, there was a slight delay, so I missed what you just said.
Sean Cleary has this problem on overdrive. It's not, these are the little things you can do. He'd be like, you didn't get in on time. You did have you need to do this if you still want to have a job. So how?
Not that bad.
It is that bad. How do you soften it to where you're at?
There's so many different ways and it really depends on who it is. But a great way to do it is, hey, I want to have a really challenging and uncomfortable conversation with you. And if you just say that immediately, and that is going to do two things. One, it's going to actually brace someone for what's about to come. And you can also ask them like, hey, do you have a second to have this conversation? And then they are opting into the conversation instead of just being assaulted with your conversation of being like, hey, these are all the things that you're not doing right. Just softening it at the beginning and preparing them. It's like getting punched in the stomach, but you're not ready for it. If you do that, you're immediately going to curl over. I'm trying to optimize for people not getting defensive, because if they get defensive, they can't actually hear what it is that you have to say. So if I say something like, hey, I want to have a conversation with you. Do you have a moment right now? Or I'd love to give you some feedback. Are you open to that? and giving people the opportunity to be like, no, now's not a good time, or no, can we do this later? So that they can opt in. They have a part of creating that conversation. They're not just, a victim to it, which will lead to defensiveness. And then also giving an opportunity for people to correct you if you might actually be wrong. Like, hey, this is what I'm noticing. I could be wrong, but I just want to tell you what I'm noticing, and let's have a conversation about this, instead of you're screwing up, you suck. If you don't change, you're going to lose your job. Because the truth is you might actually be missing a lot. Maybe you don't see a lot of the things that they're doing, or maybe, you could give them an opportunity to talk about something that's going on in their life that you had no idea about. And then, or an issue that they're having with their role that's taking up so much time, so they can't do all of these things. There's so many scenarios that could possibly come up. And your perspective is not, it could be flawed. Like, you could be missing something.
She said I could have a flaw?
It's possible. No, I don't think she said that.
She didn't say that.
No way she could have said that.
Anything else you'd like to ask Adee?
No, this is great.
Can we talk about the dog?
The dog?
Yeah.
What dog?
Is that a dog or a pig?
Oh, Otis.
Oh, it's a dog. It's a dog.
Other side.
It's not, yeah.
It's on the other side?
Yeah.
It's moved a few times.
Yes.
He's my little sidekick. His name's Otis.
How's he enjoying the new
Looks
house?
like he's having a really hard time.
Big stretch.
He loves this place. The reason why you get a Labradoodle is so they sleep all day, and then when you want to play, they just play.
Is that what happens with Labradoodles?
Yes, they just if you want to sleep all day, they'll sleep all day. If you want to play, they'll play. He just
Ideal.
will do anything.
I thought a Labradoodle was like a hypoallergenic.
It is, and they don't shed, so it's like extra good.
Adee, thank you very much for joining us on the live stream. Any moment that I can get to spend with you is a win. Anything you'd like to plug? Sean Cleary wants to know. Anything you want to plug?
My biggest plug is Working Against Gravity, workingagainstgravity.com. If you want to get a nutrition coach, become a nutrition coach, or start a nutrition coaching business, we have got you covered. Sean is awesome. So if you're listening to this, you're in the right place. I really appreciate being here. Hopefully we can do this in person soon.
I would very much look forward to that. Larry's awesome too. He's also of Israeli ilk. So you guys have that in common.
Oh, nice. Part of the
We shouldn't get
tribe.
together in person.
Why do Israelis sound like each other when they're together in person?
No, they're all right. Too much intensity for one room.
Got it. Well, yeah, in person can definitely happen soon. We'll talk.
Thanks.
All right.